Hello, hello. Today we will understand what are design patterns and types of design patterns. Before we get into design patterns, I would like to give uh, a brief introduction on what was the need for the design patterns in the first place. We need to keep some things or a certain things in mind while we code, right? To make other developers' life easier as well as your life easier going forward as a system grows bigger, right? Anything that we code has to be it has to be easy to review in the first place or read. It has to be easy to test, debug, if needed, refactor as well. It also has to be easy for other developers or yourself to add new features to the existing system, right? So all these are the things that we need to keep in mind while developing a software, right? So in order to achieve these things that would facilitate us to develop a maintainable, extensible software is basically OOPS, solid principles, and design patterns. Okay. Even the uh, high level design would help us, but we are sticking at the code level today. So that's why I don't include high level design as part of this session today, right? So oops, object oriented principles. Solid in itself is a bigger topic to be discussed, and this has this is the topic that we would be discussing today, right? So before I start with the design patterns, I would like to introduce you to the folks who introduce us to design patterns. I would say notable mentions are these four folks who introduced book called Gang of Four. Uh, I would say a book to Introduction to Design Patterns uh, back then in 1994 by these four folks. So certainly they become very famous as Gang of Four. Uh, Anytime you come across in the software or in the developer conference as GOF, uh, they tend to mean the Gang of Four. Okay, so these were the folks who introduced us to design patterns. They did some error and trial in order to come up with these design patterns. Uh, why they came up with the design patterns in the first place? Certainly, they did see some repeating or commonly occurring problems in the software systems when they started coding or when they started designing some systems. So they did some trial and error, and they did come up with the proven solutions which could be used till date, okay, to solve the commonly occurring problems. And I would say these were the four notable mentions uh, when it comes to the design pattern. That's why I brought up the image of these folks here. Okay, so now we will try to understand what are design patterns, right? So, what do you understand by the term design pattern? Mhm. Design is a blueprint, right? Let's say if you would want to construct a house, you would come up with a blueprint or a architecture diagram of the house before you start constructing. So that becomes a design for your house, right? Patterns, certainly we do all understand what are patterns. Uh, Something that is commonly occurring, right? Or commonly repeating or recurring. So when we are talking design patterns, or when we are talking about the design patterns in terms of system design, these are the proven solutions that are used to solve commonly occurring problems, right? Right. So now we know why we need the design pattern, who are the folks who introduced us to design patterns, and what exactly is the term design pattern is. Types of design patterns, right? Certainly, Gang of Four introduced 23 design patterns in their book. Okay. Sorry, you might not be able to see this. I will write here. So certainly there are 23 design patterns that were introduced by the Gang of Four in their book. So today we will try to understand just on a high level what are the types of design patterns, how they are broken up, right? One is creational design pattern, other one is structural, and the other one is behavior. Certainly, we will understand these design patterns in detail going forward. This was just an introductory session today. Thank you all for listening. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you.